Excuse me, sir, are you free?
I'm free.
Well, that obviously tells everybody who we've got on the show this week. John Inman, thank you very much for taking the time out to speak to us.
It's a great pleasure.
And secondly, congratulations on being chosen some weeks ago for This Is Your Life.
Oh, yes, that was a terrifying experience, but a very, very happy one. It was lovely. I enjoyed it.
Did you have anything at all?
No, none at all, no. Apparently I gave several people heart attacks through that day because they all thought that I did know, that I had an inkling, and I didn't at all. And I kept saying things, that prompted them to think that I knew about it, but I didn't. It was quite a shock.
It must be a delight as well, surely.
Oh, yes, it was. It was marvellous. And to see everybody, that I hadn't seen for such a long time. And my mother, I was more concerned about her because I knew she'd be in a terrible state wherever she was. I said to the fellow afterwards, after Eamon had caught me here, you see, I said, where's my mother? Has she arrived? And he said, shut up, you're not supposed to ask questions like that.
You said the word here. Well, that means Wimbledon Theatre.
Yes.
This is actually your second time here, isn't it?
It's my second time in pantomime. It's my third time, really, because I used to work here 15 years ago when Peter Haddon had the place. I was a stage manager here.
Really?
I was here for 2 years, so I know every nook and cranny about the place.
Well, of course, you're purely concerned with the on-stage thing at the moment, which is Mother Goose. How's that going?
It's going splendidly, thank you. Yes, marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. Lovely cast, very happy company. And the business is terrific, so we can't complain at all.
Apparently it was extended before you even started.
That's right, yes. We extended a week before we opened.
It can't be bad.
No, it's good.
Purely from the advance booking. What part are you playing?
I play Mother Goose. In fact, when you leave here, I shall start to get into the frocks.
The frocks, I believe you've designed yourself.
Yes, I have, yes. I always do that because you know what you're going to do in them. If someone else designs for you, you perhaps can't work as well in them as you can if you do it yourself.
I see.
At least that's my excuse. No, I do find that, you know what jokes you can do and you know what shape you want to look. Because with Mother Goose, you see, I change shape and face as the show goes on. I start off as a very dumpy, grey-haired old lady with wire glasses, and then I go to the magic pool when I get rich to become beautiful, and end up as a willowy ballerina coming out the magic pool. So you've got to design things like that yourself, and you know what you can do.
How many changes does this involve?
I've got 12 changes in the show.
And you've designed all of the dresses?
Oh, yes. 12 changes, that's 24 a day. 24 frocks, 24 pairs of shoes, 24 pairs of gloves, 24 pairs of earrings.
Now, when we say design, I'm sure I could design something, but when they get right down to it, I couldn't do it at all. Have you got some experience with designing?
No, not really. Only what I've learnt through being in the business for such a long time, And I've always been interested in costumes and props and things like that. And I don't find it too difficult, because I can picture something and picture how it's going to work, so then I just shove it down on paper. Up until this year, I used to actually make them as well, but I've been so busy this year that I got a little lady in Blackpool to make them for me.
I see. Of course, you've done some set designing as well, haven't you?
Yes, I was a scenic artist for a while with a rep company. But I didn't like that. It's a bit of a dirty job, you see.
Getting back to Mother Goose and your various changes and all the rest, is there a set script for Mother Goose which must be followed irrespective of who's playing? No. I think it's like most pantomimes. The script is built round whoever's starring in the show. Everybody's always got their own bits that they want to do in a pantomime, and they're fitted in. Pantomime book, although a pantomime lasts nearly 3 hours, the book for a pantomime is very slim, really. It can be done on the back of a dirty old brown envelope. I see, so there is no basic script which you must follow from a traditional point of view? No, there's a story. You've got to follow the story, but
I wouldn't call it a script. Mother Goose is poor. The fairy sends this magic goose that lays the golden eggs, and she becomes rich, and she's enticed by the demon king to the magic pool to become beautiful, and because she gets greedy and wants everything, the goose flies away, and then she repents, goes to Gooseland, and pleads to the king of Gooseland, can she have Priscilla back, and she'll be a good girl again. And they all live happily ever after. You've got to stick to that story.
Once you get those facts in, then anything else goes.
Oh, yes.
Anything.
Well, that's the lovely thing about pantomime, you see. It's such a great mixture of forms of entertainment. There's straight singing, there's dancing, big musical numbers. Quite a lot of acting goes into Mother Goose, because when they all leave her, she gets very sad. And it's an art form that envelops everything to do with the business.
I should think that you like pantomime more than anything else.
Oh, I do, yes, I do. If there was a country that did it 12 months a year, I'd move straight away.
Well, unfortunately, the money isn't really in pantomime. It's such a once.
Well, it's once a year. It can't be done any other time. Actually, runs aren't as long now as they used to be. We're doing 7 weeks, which is, I think, the longest Wimbledon can do. Places like Manchester do 10 to 15 weeks. It depends what part of the country. But even those are getting shorter all the time now. There was a time when pantos used to go up to Easter. But you do feel a bit silly with a Christmas pudding on your head at Easter.
Can you manage to feed in any of the Are You Being Served stories at all into the pantomime?
Into the pantomime? No, not really. Because, as I say, I'm playing Mother Goose, which is a definite character. I do the I'm Frees. We all shout out, are you free, and I'm free, and things like that. And we mention Mrs. Slocum. But that's about all, yeah. We don't go into the shop. I suppose you could do that in Dick Whittington. You could turn Fitzwarren's store into Grace Brothers, I think.
Which could offer English here, was it?
Yes.
From the series. It really is a marvellous series. How did it come about for you?
Well, it was written for me, actually, by David Croft. Just over 4 years ago now, when we did the pilot. And he sent me a script and said, would I be interested in playing Mr. Humphreys? And I said, yes, thank you very much. But it was only a one-off, it was just going to be a comedy playhouse. And we did it, and it was shown. Didn't set the world on fire at all, and then we did a few more. But since then, Mr. Humphreys has blossomed somewhat, you see. They've taken over.
Was that original catchphrase in I'm Free?
No, that happened. That just happened. We did say it quite a lot. We used to say it, but it wasn't until I started almost singing it that it took off. People caught on to it. Thank God.
Yes, because catchphrase is a marvellous thing, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yes. It's wonderful. Walk down the street and people yell it out. It's quite nice.
I'm surprised you haven't made a record using that as a title.
Well. I possibly will be doing. I've made several records. Are You Being Served was the first one. But I'm doing a summer show this summer at Great Yarmouth, and we've found a number which is called I'm Free, which I possibly will record before we do the show. And I shall use it in the show.
That's something to look forward to. Because you've done these two wonderful records, in particular the Teddy Bear's Picnic and Rudolph.
Yes.
Are they in any way leading up to an LP called The Child's Garden of Inman?
No, I don't know about that. Will you excuse me a moment?
We'll go straight on to the Celebrity Square, thing which, of course, has got you well and truly in the public.
Yes, I enjoy that, actually. I quite like Celebrity Squares. Well, I was going to say it's easy to do, but actually the last lot we did a whole chunk together, and doing 4 or 5, one after the other, is not too easy, because you never know what you're going to get fired at.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because there is the feeling that you do have a hint before you go on.
No, well, we have. What you do know is that the questions will suit you. You know, they don't ask you questions that you obviously have no idea about or can't get something out of. They usually ask me dirty-sounding words so that I can go, oh! You see. So you know pretty well that you're going to be all right. It's not like the brain of Britain or anything like that.
But you're given no clue as to the actual question that you must answer?
No, not at all. No, we never see Bob, actually, until the show's over. He keeps well out of the way, and we keep out of the way with him with our little cards and the questions for him, you know, so...
Really a marvellous program.
Oh, it's done well, yes. It's very nice to do, because you meet such a lot of marvellous people that you wouldn't meet otherwise, you see. You meet 8 other celebrities, which is, smashing.
Bob was rather
yes,
special.
oh, yes.
Oh, we think so anyway.
Oh, well, he's wonderful. He's marvellous.
Bob thinks so as well. Getting back to what you've been served, do programs like that take a long time to do?
No, a week. We do 1 episode a week, which I say a week, it takes about 4 days, really, to plot it and rehearse it. And then we go into the studio on a Friday and record it in the evening.
Now, is the script served up to you by 2 boys?
Yes.
Or
We get the
come
script.
in with you?
No, we get the script. Sometimes we get them weeks before. But we read it through on a Monday. And then we start to plot it on the floor, move it about. And any little snippets that we might think of, we put in or take out. Sometimes I might say, this line doesn't suit me, it would be better if Trevor had it.
Yeah.
So we switch it around that way, or we think of a gag, and then David Croft will laugh like a drain and say, no, that's too dirty, you can't do that. But, we kick it about for a day, and then once it's set, you see, you can't really go ad-libbing on a television program, otherwise the camera wouldn't be on you, you see. It's all got to be scripted. So about halfway through the week, we leave it at that, and that is how it has to stay.
When is it coming back on the air?
I don't actually know when it's going back on the air. I do know that I start doing another 7 of them straight after the pantomime. We start on the 14th of February.
So it's a very busy time for John Inman.
Oh, it is indeed, yes. I do that for 7 weeks, and then straight after that we're going to make the feature film of Are You Being Served. That takes 5 weeks, and then I'm off to Great Yarmouth for the summer. And after the summer, I'm doing a new series for Thames called Odd Man Out.
What type of program is that?
Well, it's a situation comedy about a Lancashire fella who inherits a factory in the south, and really that's all it's about, but there's complications on the way,
Yes, without telling too much. It sounds like a good idea.
Well, I think it'll work, yes.
When will the feature film of Are You Being Served come about?
Oh, now that I don't know, because I don't know how film companies work. We make it end of March, April. Whether it'll be shown sort of late summer, I don't know.
So hopefully sometime this year.
Oh, it'll be this year, yes.
Is this your first venture into film?
Yes, it is, yes. I've never done a film before. I'm quite looking forward to it.
It's incredible that you haven't. You seem to have done everything else now.
Yes, well...
Rest,
that's the next thing, then. The film's the next thing.
So, having done everything virtually now, with the exception of films, is there any one thing, because you can't really say there is one thing that has given you more pleasure than anything else, because you don't know how you're going to settle it in film?
No, I really enjoy my work, no matter what medium it is or what form it takes. I'm very, very lucky because I'm one person that likes actually going to work.
Or preferably live.
Oh, yes, I think. When they're out there, you do know. Yes, I like to have a chat to them. I'll tell you who I haven't had a chat to, and that's Ivy Chapman. I haven't said a word to her yet. And I believe it's her idea that I should talk to you today. And I wish you a very happy New Year, Ivy.
John, may we wish you the very same. Very happy New Year and all the years to come. Thank you very much for all the pleasure you've given us at Devizes and people all over the world, in fact.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Pleasure.